Okay, so in the second unit we will start from the correlation analysis. So before the numerical portion we will just try to uh, study the some basic concept of the correlation. So in the correlation analysis you can see the correlation means the relationship between the multiple variables or two variables, or we can say the one thing how the one variable is correlated with the another variable. So like the center tendency, dispersion, skewness, consistency can be used for the purpose of comparison and analysis of the univariate distribution only, but they not provide the correlation or the relationship between the two variables. So our purpose of relationship between two variable cannot be solved by these old type of the method we already done in the last unit. So if we measure the heights and the weights of the n individual, n means number of individuals, we obtain a series in which each unit individual of the series assumes two values, one relating to the height and another relating to the weight. तो दो यूनिट हमारी, एक तो वेट की यूनिट है और दूसरी हमारी कौन सी यूनिट है, हाइट. तो दो चीज़ हम मेजर रिलेशनशिप हम फाइंड आउट कर रहे हैं. तो सच डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इन विच ईच यूनिट ऑफ द सीरीज अज्यूम्स टू वैल्यूज इज कॉल्ड द बाइवेरिएट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. इसको बाइवेरिएट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कहते हैं क्योंकि इसमें हर एक यूनिट है उसको हम दो वैल्यू एज्यूम करते हैं उसकी, एक तो हाइट की एक वेट की. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड द बाइवेरिएट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. सो इफ यू मेजर मोर देन द टू वेरिएबल्स, अगर दो से ज़्यादा वेरिएबल्स को मेजर करते हैं ऑन ईच यूनिट ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, हर एक यूनिट जो भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की उसके ऊपर, इट इज कॉल्ड ए multivariate distribution. So there are different more than two variables, say height, weight, or you can also include the gender, you can also include the income level, you also include the occupation. So when we will just try to correlate between the all the variables all together or simultaneously, then it is called the multivariate distribution. So when the relationship is of quantitative nature, अगर कोई relationship है वो quantitative nature की है, the appropriate statistical tools for the discovering and measuring the relationship, क्या हम measure करते हैं, measure and discovering the relationship and expressing it in a brief formula is known as the correlation. So if you want to represent the relationship through a mathematical formula is called as the correlation. So it is a quantitative nature. Correlation always show the value in the quantity, in the numerical forms instead of the unit. It is independent of the unit. It provides the values in the pure number according to Croxton and the Codon. According to AM Tuttle, the correlation is an analysis of the covariation between two or more variables. It shows the covariation, how one variable is correlated to the another variable, two or more variable. According to the Tippett, saying the effect of the correlation is to reduce the range of the uncertainty of our prediction. So it also shows that how the relationship reduce the uncertainty and prediction. So by using the correlation we can ignore and we can control some uncertainties of our prediction or the future forecasting. So two variables are said to be correlated if the change in the one variable result in a corresponding change in the another variable. So if we make 1% change in the one variable, how many percentage change in the another variable? So that is called the, we can say, the correlation. So it shows the percentage change in the one variable effect and how much percentage change may be done in the another variables. So if there is same proportion change in the both variables, it provides a linear line or linear correlation. If one variable change 1%, another variable also change 1%. Then if one variable change the 2%, another variable also change the 2%. So it provides a linear correlation between the both the variables. So there is different types of correlation on the basis of the direction, positive correlation, negative correlation on the basis of the formula of line of graph, then linear correlation and non-linear correlation. So when you can say the positive correlation, when the one variable is increasing in the same direction and another variable also increasing in the same direction. means both the variables are increasing in the same direction. If one variable increasing in the positive side, another variable will also be increasing. So this type of the correlation called the positive correlation, and the negative correlation is the vice versa. If one variable is increasing, direction is the in the increasing, another variable will decreasing. If one variable change the 5%, another variable decrease in the 2%, so it will create a negative correlation. So for example, when the demand when the price will be increasing, when the price of the product will increasing, then the demand will decreasing. So this type of the relationship show the negative correlation. Then the linear correlation is the relationship when one variable changes in the same proportion as the another variable change. If one variable change the 5%, another variable also change the 5%. And one variable change the 10%, another variable also change the 10%. So it provides a linear relationship, or we consider the linear line. If there is straight line or linear line, that is called the linear correlation. And non-linear correlation is that when the proportion of change in the one variable not equal to change in the another variable. If one variable change 5%, another variable 10%, another variable change the 7%, another variable change the 5%, so like that. So in this case, either the curve will be like that, the curve may be like that, so it will not be in the straight line. So that is called the non-linear correlation. So now the next concept, the correlation and the causation. So causation means cause and effect relationship. So correlation relationship enable us to have an idea about the degree and the direction. The correlation tells about us about the two things. One is the degree, how much the value is correlated to each other, and second it tells about the direction. What is the direction of the change? It's a positive or negative, and how much the correlation between the two variables. So it tells about the two things between the two variables. In a bivariate distribution, if the one variable have the cause and effect relationship, they are bound to vary in sympathy with each other, and therefore there is bound to be high degree of correlation between them. So there is a higher correlation between the two variables. We can say the foundation in the both the variables is the high degree of correlation. Okay. If the change in variable due to the another variable, so it shows the cause and effect relationship. For example, the crops yield, or we can say the crops yield or crops production depend on the various variable like the rainwater, quality of seeds, quality of soils, quality of soil, harvesting technique. So these are the various methods through which so this depend on the with the cross yield. It depends on the various another variable. So this variable called the dependent variable. It will called as the dependent variable. Another is called the independent variable. These are the independent variables. So independent variable provide a base to the dependent variable. So the crop yield or crop production depend on all these independent variables. So it shows the cause and effect relationship. If there will be heavy rain, so this is the cause. This is the cause and this is the effect. If there is a heavy rain, or we can say the rain which is required or rainwater which is required as per the crops, and the quality of seed will be good, the quality of soil will be good, then the crop yield or crop production will also be good. So this will be the cause and the effect will be the cross production. So it shows the cause and effect relationship between the two variables. So in other words, कोजेशन ऑलवेज इम्प्लाइज कोरिलेशन. जहाँ पे कोजेशन की बात आती है वहाँ पे हम क्या कहते हैं, कोरिलेशन. हम रिलेशनशिप शो करता है. कोजेशन मीन्स कोज एंड इफेक्ट रिलेशनशिप, और कोरिलेशन भी यही चीज़ बताता है. तो हाउएवर द कन्वर्स इज नॉट ट्रू, लेकिन कन्वर्स ट्रू नहीं है. कोजेशन को हम कोरिलेशन कह सकते हैं, लेकिन कोरिलेशन विल नॉट ऑलवेज बी कोज एंड इफेक्ट रिलेशनशिप. कोरिलेशन में हमेशा नहीं, ये नहीं होता कि कोज एंड इफेक्ट रिलेशनशिप होगा ही होगा, बट जो कोजेशन होता है उसमें कोरिलेशन होगा ही होगा. Even a fairly high degree of correlation between two variables need not imply a cause and effect relationship between them. अगर हाई डिग्री ऑफ कोरिलेशन दे रही कोई आर को डिनोट करते हैं कोरिलेशन से. अगर आर की वैल्यू अगर हाई है 0.98, even then we cannot say that there will be a cause and effect relationship. It's not necessary that it shows the cause and effect relationship. The high degree of correlation between the variable may be due to the following reasons. इस रीजन से हो सकता है म्यूचुअल डिपेंडेंस हो दोनों वेरिएबल्स की. बोथ द वेरिएबल्स बीइंग इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय सम एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर भी हो सकता है जो उनको इन्फ्लुएंस करता है, जिसके कारण उनका हाई कोरिलेशन आ रहा हो. एक प्योर चांस भी हो सकता है, कई बार चांस बाई चांस कोरिलेशन अच्छा बन जाए. So what are the various methods? That is the important, the methods of the correlation. First method इसमें हम करेंगे स्कैटर डायग्राम मेथड. सो मेथड ऑफ कोरिलेशन है स्कैटर डायग्राम मेथड, कार्ल पियर्सन कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ कोरिलेशन, द स्पीरमैन रैंक कोरिलेशन, then two-way frequency table, bivariate correlation method, and the concurrent deviation. So that is important. This is not much important, but I will tell you some basic about it, bivariate correlation method. So the scatter diagram method. In the scatter diagram method, we have to plot the value of x and y on the graph, and we will just match all the points which is just we have plotted on the graph. Then we will see what type the direction when meeting all the points, what type the direction they are providing. So according to that graph, we can conclude that what is the direction of the correlation, whether there is a positive correlation or negative correlation by using the graph like that. So you can see it shows the perfect positive correlation. So always the perfect correlation value will be lie +1. Okay? Because all the variables are increasing in the or in a straight line or increasing in the positive side, and these all variables are decreasing in the same direction and into the same proportion. So that is called the perfect correlation. It's always lies the value r-1. Then high degree of positive correlation. High degree means the data will be very close to each other. When the data are close to each other, there is a less deviation between the variables. The distance between one value to another variable in a series is less. It shows the high degree of correlation. Lesser the distance deviation between the values, higher the correlation. So it shows the high degree of correlation. So high degree of correlation lies between 0.75 to plus 0.99. So this value lies between this. And then high degree of negative correlation, this shows in the negative direction. The values all will be the correlation between the deviation between the variable will also be high. The less deviation we can say the high degree of correlation. The value of that so minus 0.7 to minus 0.99. So values of the correlation lies between this if this type of the direction, all the values of x and y, both the variables are represented in the graph like that. So we can conclude with this type of the degree of correlation. Then the low degree of positive correlation. So why it is the low degree of correlation? Because here the values, the deviation between one variable to another variable is the very high. So deviation between the values of x and y are very far away. So higher the deviation, lower the correlation. So in that the value always lies between the. So apart from that, there is also the moderate degree of correlation. In the moderate degree of positive correlation, it shows the values like that. There is a moderate. It the deviation a little bit higher than the deviation is higher than the high degree of positive correlation. So deviation will be higher to less correlation. We consider the moderate degree of correlation. Moderate degree of positive correlation. Moderate degree of positive correlation. So moderate degree of positive correlation value lie between R value lies between 0 plus 0.25 to plus 0.5. 25 to we can say the 275 0.275 between the 0.25 to 0.75. Then the moderate degree of negative correlation, it will show the deviation of the value. Deviation will be higher than the moderate degree of correlation. So the values of that will call the moderate degree of negative correlation. In the moderate degree of negative correlation, the values lie between minus 0.25 to minus 0.75. And the low degree of positive correlation, so R values lie between 0 to 0.25. And in this the deviation will also higher, but in the negative side. That is the low degree of negative correlation. So here the R value lie between 0 to minus 0.25. And next is the no correlation, where there is a no correlation, there is no straight line, there is no any linearity between the variables. So all the values will be scattered like that in the circle like that. So this type of the correlation will show as the no correlation or the zero correlation. We can also say the zero correlation or the no correlation. So in this case the R is equal to 0. No correlation will also be like that. It will also be like that. It will not provide any correlation between the variable. No, कोई भी correlation नहीं है. So in this the R will always be 0. So the example is given here. The height and weight of given here x and y, the value, both the values are given. So you have to plot the values of x and y on the graph chart. So we have to plot the values on the graph chart. So you can see here the values are plotted. So it all values are on from the positive side. They are increasing in the positive side, but not in a linear value. So since the points are dense close to each other, we may expect a high degree of correlation between the series of heights and the weights. Further, since the points reveal an upward trends starting from left bottom to the going up toward the right top, so the correlation is positive. So एक तो हमें पता चल गया पॉजिटिव है, और जो वैल्यूज हैं हमारी ये नज़दीक नज़दीक हैं इनकी, तो हम क्या कह सकते हैं इसमें, ये हाई डिग्री seems to be high degree of correlation. Hence, we may expect a fairly high degree of positive correlation between the series of heights and weights. Okay, so of become class. High degree of positive correlation हमारी क्या थी 0.75 to 0.99. So ये हम कह सकते हैं कि there is a high degree of correlation between the variables. All values are increasing from the positive side. ये scatter diagram method. Next method आता है method of the correlation. It is a mathematical method. Mathematical formula will be used to Karl Pearson coefficient of correlation. So in this you can see here the Karl Pearson coefficient of correlation. So a mathematical method of the measuring the intensity of the magnitude of the linear relationship, we can use the Karl Pearson. So this is the mathematical method for measuring, क्या measure करने के लिए, intensity and or the magnitude, the direction of linear relationship. So it shows the linear relationship. So it was suggested by the Karl Pearson. Karl Pearson, a great British biometrician था and statistician था, who just suggested this method in 1967 to 1936. So is for the most widely used method in the practice. So Karl Pearson measure known as the Pearsonian correlation coefficient between the two variable series x and y, usually denoted by the x and y or rxy, or simply we can write r, we can denote the correlation with the r, is a numerical measures. ये क्या है, एक numerical measure है of linear relationship between them and is defined as the ratio of the covariation between the x and y. It also show the covariation between the two variables x and y, written as the covariation x and y, to be produced of the standard deviation of x and y. So you can also calculate the correlation like that. Correlation covariance between x and y divided by standard deviation of x and standard deviation of y. तो कोवेरिएशन कैसे निकाल सकते हो आप? कोवेरिएशन आप देखो, स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन का स्क्वायर है, कोवेरिएंस क्या होता है? स्क्वायर ऑफ द स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन की जो वैल्यू है उसका स्क्वायर है, वो हमारा कोवेरिएंस होता है. अब देखो स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन का जो हमारा स्क्वायर था, यहाँ पे अंडर रूट होता था स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन में, हम अंडर रूट लगाते थे. अगर इसका स्क्वायर करेंगे हम तो या स्क्वायर से अंडर रूट कट जाएगा, तो कोवेरिएंस किसके इक्वल हो जाएगा? विदाउट अंडर रूट. ठीक है, तो कोवेरिएंस क्या होता है? स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन का स्क्वायर. तो स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन निकाल लेंगे एक्स का, स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन वाई का निकालेंगे. तो एक तो मेथड ये है कि हम सोल्व करेंगे बाय यूजिंग 1 मिनट. हु एंटर द क्लास? Okay, so this is mathematical formula. So first method we can use the correlation by using these two method. Covariation, first of all we will calculate the covariation between x and y, then we will calculate the standard deviation of x, then we will calculate the standard deviation of y and put all the values here. And the second method is that this formula can be written as like that. When we are taking the deviation from the assumed mean. Okay? If we are taking the deviation from the actual mean or assumed mean, so there is a different method. If we are taking the if we are using the method like the actual mean method, so when you will use the actual mean method, then you can use this formula. So where you can also write this formula like that, summation xy divided by, now so you can also write this formula like the summation xy divided by summation x square into summation y square. This is the multiply. So you can also use this formula like that. So where x is equal to x minus x bar, where y is equal to y minus y bar. So you can denote like that. So this is the method when we are actual mean we are using and we are taking the deviation from the actual mean, then you can use this formula. And when you are taking the deviation from the assumed mean, so if you are taking the deviation from assumed mean, so here you can write this formula, where instead of this you can also denote like dx is equal to x minus a and dy is equal to y minus a. So you can also use this formula in assume mean method, when you are just assuming the mean from the value of x and y. assume mean method. So you can use this method in the assume mean method, and this formula you can use in actual mean method. And the one more formula, when we are using the actual values of x and y's, when we are using the actual values of x and y, when you are using the actual values of x and y, then you can use formula like that. Summation xy divided by summation x square multiply by summation y square okay. And apart from this, one minute, one formula, I'm just checking there is any formula used here by or not. Okay, so when you are using the actual values of x and y, so you can solve it like that. Sorry, this method we will use in the actual mean method. This method was the actual mean method. I already told you about the actual mean method. When the actual values of x and y, if we use actual values of x and y, then how you can use? Okay, let's see. It's not erasing. Okay, so this formula is not is for actual mean method. Now the actual values of x and y, then we can solve it like that: n into summation x into y minus summation x into summation y divided by n into summation x square minus summation x का होल स्क्वायर मल्टीप्लाई बाई n into summation y square minus summation y का whole square. So we can use this formula if the actual values of x and y are used. And when the assume mean method is used, so in the assume mean method you can use this formula like that. In assume mean method, either you can use this formula, this is also the right, but in this it will be very difficult to solve. So instead of that, you can use the formula like that: n into summation dx into dy minus summation dx into summation dy divided by under root n into summation dx square. dx क्या है? डेविएशन. dx क्या है? dx is equal to x minus a deviation from assume mean of all values of y, deviation from assume mean of all values of y minus summation dx का whole square. Now multiply n into summation dy का whole square minus summation dy whole square and dy square. Now dy square. So this formula we can use in the assume mean method. So simply you can see the calculation we have already. This is a form. This is the values are given, x and y. All the values are given. So first of all, what you will do, you have to take the deviation. So if you calculate it from the actual mean method, so you can use this formula. Instead of dxy, you can write here summation xy divided by summation x square into summation y square, and you can calculate here like that summation xy dxyd you can put here summation xy, this you can write the summation y square, then summation sorry, this is the small x square, then the y square. So here the x is equal to x minus x bar, y is equal to y minus y bar. So here you can write the small y is equal to capital Y minus y bar. So you can take the division. First of all you have to take the average of x, this is the 65, the average of y is the 66. So you have to take the division from each and every values of x from the 65. So 39 minus 65 minus 26, 65 minus 65 0, 62 minus 65 minus 3, 90 minus 65 25. So like that you can take the division. Then the another value is a y minus y bar. So you can take the y the y mean is the 66. So 60 you have to take the division from the 66. So 47 minus 66 minus 19, 53 minus 66 minus 13, 58 minus 66 minus 8, 86 minus 66 20, 62 minus 66 minus 4, 68 minus 66 2, 60 minus 66 minus 6. So after taking the division from each and every value, you have to square all the values. Square of the 26 676, square of the 0 0, square of the 3 9, square of the 25 625, square of the 17 289, square of the 10 100. Same like you can take the square of the y, so y square 19 square 361, 13 square 169, 8 square 64, 20 square 400, 4 square 16. So like that. So after that you can make the total of the summation x square and the summation y square, then summation xy. Just put these value here. 2704 divided by summation x square is the 5398 and multiply by 2224. Then when we will solve this value, it will show the 0.78. So it shows the high degree of positive correlation. ये positive में आ रही है ना value, तो it show the high degree of positive correlation. High degree of positive correlation. So it shows the high degree of positive correlation. So you can solve this value like that. Okay. This is the actual mean method when we are using the actual mean method. ओके सो ये हमने कर दिया था एक्चुअल मीन मेथड. अगर एक्चुअल वैल्यूज ऑफ एक्चुअल मीन की वैल्यू से डेविएशन लेके निकालते हो तो कौन सा फॉर्मूला आप यूज करके निकालोगे. तो सिंपली हमने ये कर लिया था, तो उसमें हम ये इस फॉर्मूला लगा सकते हैं समेशन एक्स वाई डिवाइड बाई समेशन एक्स स्क्वायर इनटू समेशन वाई स्क्वायर अंडर रूट, वेयर एक्स इज इक्वल टू एक्स माइनस एक्स बार, y is equal to y minus y bar. Okay, so in the next, if we are using the actual values of x and y, so actual एक बार यहाँ पे मैं एग्जांपल लिख देता हूँ कोई, how you can calculate when the actual values of x and y values you are using the actual values of x and y. So in the formula, this is the formula, n into summation x into summation xy minus summation x into summation y divided by n into summation x square minus summation x का whole square into n into summation y का square minus summation y का whole square. So in this we are using the actual values of x and y. So first of all, what we have required we required summation x we require summation y, we require x square, we required y square, and we required x and y. So for example, value of given like that 4 and 5, the value of y is given like that. So x square, first of all you have to make the total summation x. Summation x is total of the x value. Summation x is equal to 2 plus 1 3, 3 plus 3 6, 6 plus 4 10, 10 plus 5 15. It will be 15. And summation y 3 plus 4 7, 7 plus 2 6. Now 7 plus 2 9, 10, 10 or 6 16. Summation y will be 16. Next square of the all the x value. 2 square 4, 1 square 1, 3 square 9, 4 square 16, and 5 square 25. And the square of y 3 square 9, 4 square 16, 2 square 4, 1 square 1, 3 square 36. So summation x square क्या आएगा यहाँ पे, और summation y square. Summation x square टोटल करो. 4 plus 1 5, 5 4 9 14, 14 और 16 30, 30 और 25 55. तो summation x square will be 55. तो summation x square कितना आ गया हमारे पास 55. अब summation y square कितना आएगा 9 plus 16 25, 25 plus 4 29 and 1 30, 30 और 36 कितना हो गया 66. summation y square आ गया 66. and x or y, multiply x and y. 2 into 3 6, 1 into 4 4, 3 into 2 6, 4 into 1 4, and 5 into 6 30. तो what will be the total of summation x y? summation x y का total कितना आएगा summation x y का total 4 and 6 plus 4 10, 10 or 6 16, 16 or 2 16 or and 16 or 4 20 or 30 50. summation x y 50. So put all the values here and total number of observation कितनी है 1 2 3 4 5. तो n is equal to कितना आ गया 5. So put all the values in this formula. n into summation x y, 5 into summation x y की वैल्यू कितनी है 50 है, माइनस समेशन x इंटू समेशन y. समेशन x कितना आया हमारे पास, समेशन x है हमारे पास 15 और ये 16. सो 15 मल्टीप्लाई बाई 16. नाउ n इंटू summation x square. summation x square value is the 55. n क्या है हमारे पास 5. and number of observation कितनी है 5 into summation x square कितना है हमारे पास 55 माइनस summation x का होल स्क्वायर. summation x का होल स्क्वायर summation x कितना है हमारे पास 15 का होल स्क्वायर. चाहे तो एक ही अंडर रूट में कर लो चाहे अलग अलग कर लो, एक ही बात है. नाउ 5 इंटू समेशन वाई स्क्र. समेशन वाई स्क्र कितना है हमारा 66 माइनस समेशन वाई का होल स्क्र. समेशन वाई कितना है 16 का होल स्क्र. नाउ सोल्व इट. इट विल बी 250 माइनस ये 15 माइनस प्लस 16 240 होगा ना. I think. Just use the calculator. Two 40 divided by 5 into 55. 275. 275 एंड 15 का स्क्वायर कितना होगा? 225 225 इंटू 330 5 इंटू 66 330 माइनस 16 का स्क्वायर 256 256 नाउ 240 माइनस 250 माइनस 240 कितना आ गया ये हमारा? 10 डिवाइड बाय 275 माइनस 225 ये 50 आ गया। 330 माइनस 256 74 10 डिवाइड बाय, अगर 50 और 75 को मल्टीप्लाई करते हो तो या अलग अलग इसका अंडर रूट निकालो या 50 और उसको मल्टीप्लाई कर लो 74 को, ये 3700 आ जाएगा कुछ 3700। इसका अंडर रूट निकाल लो, अब क्या आएगा? अंडर रूट 3700 60.82 आएगा इसका कुछ 60.82। सो अब आप इसमें कर दो 10 को डिवाइड कर दो 10 डिवाइड बाई 60.82 ये आ गया हमारा 0.16। so which type of the correlation it shows? It shows the low degree of positive correlation, positive correlation, low degree of positive correlation. It shows the low degree of positive. So पहला हमने स्कैटर डायग्राम मेथड किया था, दूसरा हमने किया कार्ल पियर्सन के अंदर हमने एक्चुअल मीन बाय यूजिंग द एक्चुअल मीन। सेकंड हमने ये किया बाय यूजिंग एक्चुअल वैल्यूज ऑफ एक्स एंड वाई, एक्चुअल वैल्यूज, ये अभी जो किया एक्चुअल वैल्यूज ऑफ एक्स एंड वाई। एंड फिर है उसके बाद हमारा पास बाय अज्यूम मीन मेथड। सो अज्यूम मीन मेथड में क्या करते हैं हम कि जो डेविएशन हम लेंगे वो हम ए या एक्स में से एक की कोई अज्यूम मीन मान लेंगे और वाई की जो वैल्यू है उसमें से हम अज्यूम मीन मान लेंगे। तो कैसे करेंगे? अगर इन केस ऑफ अज्यूम मीन मेथड, सो अज्यूम मीन मेथड का फॉर्मूला भी मैंने बताया था, मैं एक बार रफ कर देता हूँ इसको। तो जो फॉर्मूला मैंने लिखवाया था वो नोट कर लेना सभी, जो अज्यूम मीन मेथड में हम कैसे कैलकुलेट करते हैं। सेम यही, बस हमें डेविएशन लेना है, वो किससे लेंगे? अज्यूम मीन से लेंगे। बाकी सब प्रोसीजर वही जो एक्चुअल वैल्यूज में मैंने करवाया था वो नहीं, उसमें एक्चुअल वैल्यूज में हमने कोई डेविएशन नहीं लिया था, लेकिन जो हमने एक्चुअल बाय यूजिंग एक्चुअल मीन मेथड तो वैसे ही होगा एक्चुअल मीन। वहाँ तो हमने एक्चुअल मीन की वैल्यू निकाल के एक्स बार वाई बार निकाल के उससे हमने डेविएशन लिया था हर एक एक्स और वाई की वैल्यूज का। बट एज्यूम मीन मेथड में क्या करेंगे, हम एक्स और वाई में से कोई भी हम एक एज्यूम मीन मानेंगे। एज्यूम मीन मान के उस वैल्यू से हम हर एक वैल्यू का डेविएशन लेंगे। अगर यहाँ करूँ तो मैं छोटा पड़ जाएगा, चलो मैं एक ब्रीफ बता देता हूँ आपको। अब देखो ये फॉर एग्जांपल हमारे पास एक्स और वाई की, मैं छोटा सा एग्जांपल लेके करवा देता हूँ तुम्हें। एक्स और वाई की वैल्यू है ये, इसमें वैल्यू आप छोटी से छोटी ले ताकि जल्दी से हम कर ले। 1 3 4 एंड 5। ओके, सो इसमें देखो हम इसमें ले लेते हैं 2 1 6 5 6 एंड 5। अब हमें देखो क्या है, डेविएशन निकालना है, तो डेविएशन डी एक्स हम निकालेंगे। हमें डी एक्स की जरूरत है। एक तो डी एक्स क्या आ जाएगा हमारा, एक्स माइनस ए। इसी तरह हम डी वाई निकालेंगे। डी वाई क्या होगा हमारा, वाई माइनस एज्यूम मीन। फिर हम क्या निकालेंगे, डी एक्स का स्क्वायर। फिर हम निकालेंगे डी वाई का स्क्वायर एंड लास्ट में निकालेंगे डी एक्स इंटू डी वाई। ठीक है, ये निकालेंगे हम। फॉर्मूला कौन सा यूज करेंगे हम, वही मैंने बताया था, एन इंटू समेशन डी एक्स इंटू डी वाई माइनस समेशन डी एक्स इंटू समेशन डी वाई डिवाइड बाय एन इंटू समेशन डी एक्स का स्क्वायर माइनस समेशन डी एक्स का होल स्क्वायर। एन इंटू समेशन डी वाई का स्क्वायर माइनस समेशन डी वाई का होल स्क्वायर। सो ये फॉर्मूला हम यूज करेंगे। सो इसमें हमने एज्यूम मीन, फॉर एग्जांपल इसको 3 को हमने यहाँ पे एज्यूम मीन मान लिया और इसमें से हमने 2 को एज्यूम मीन मान लिया। इसमें हमने y में 2 को एज्यूम मीन मान लिया। अब इसमें से हम क्या करेंगे, a क्या मान लिया हमने एज्यूम मीन 3, तो 3 का ऐसे डेविएशन लेंगे हर एक x की वैल्यू का। 2 माइनस 3 माइनस 1, 1 माइनस 3 माइनस 2, 3 माइनस 3 0, 4 माइनस 3 1, 5 माइनस 3 2। फिर y में हमने मान लिया 2 मान लिया डेविएशन, इसका 2 ले लिया हमने। a में जो y का में जो एज्यूम मीन मानना हमने क्या माना 2, तो 3 माइनस 2 1, 2 माइनस 2 0, 1 माइनस 2 माइनस 1, 6 माइनस 2 4 एंड 4 6 माइनस 2 4 एंड 5 माइनस 2 3। तो इसमें तो ये हम करेंगे समेशन डी एक्स। जो समेशन डी एक्स है ये तो हमारा यहीं पे 0 आ गया, 3 माइनस 3 0। समेशन डी वाई ये आ गया हमारा 7 आ गया। समेशन डी वाई कितना आ गया, 7 आ गया। अब डी एक्स स्क्वायर करो, 1 का स्क्वायर है 1 आ जाएगा, 2 का स्क्वायर हमारा 4, 0 स्क्वायर 0, 1 स्क्वायर 1, 2 स्क्वायर 4। नाउ डी वाई स्क्वायर 1 स्क्वायर 1, 0 स्क्वायर 0, 1 स्क्वायर 1, 4 स्क्वायर 16 and 3 square 9. So summation d square, what will the value of summation d x square and summation dy square? So summation d square value is 5 and 5 10 and summation dy square value is 2 and 27. It will be 27. And now the multiply dx into dy, dx into dy. -1 multiply by 1, -1, -2 multiply by 0, 0, 0 multiply by -1, 0, 4 multiply by 1, 4, and 3 multiply by 2, 6, and value will be summation dx into dy. The value will be 9. Value कितना आ गया 9. Now you have to put all the values in this formula. And total observation is the 5. Total number of observation 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Total number of observation is 5. Multiply summation dx into dy. कितना आ गया 9 minus summation dx. Summation dx is the 0. Multiply summation dy 7. And 5 multiply by dx स्क्वायर कितना हमारा 10 है, माइनस dx स्क्वायर 0 है, dx इसका स्क्वायर. उसके बाद आप y के जो फैक्टर हैं वो वैल्यूज वो लिख दो. 5 मल्टीप्लाई डी वाई स्क्वायर कितना है हमारा 27 माइनस समेशन डी वाई का होल स्क्वायर. डी वाई कितना है हमारा 27, नहीं डी वाई कितना है हमारा 7 का स्क्वायर. अब इसको सोल्व कर लो. 9 इंटू 5 45 माइनस 0 50. 5 मल्टीप्लाई 10 50 और माइनस 0 एंड 27 मल्टीप्लाई बाई 5 135 and 7 square 49. So now you can solve it. 45 divided by 50 under root multiply by 135 and 49 कितना हो गया ये 86. Now 45 divided by 50 का अंडर रूट क्या हो जाएगा 7.07 समथिंग 7.071 मल्टीप्लाई बाई 86 का अंडर रूट 86 9.273 9.273. Now multiply both values. $65.57 65.57 टू पॉइंट तक लिख सकते हो आप इसको. नाउ 45 डिवाइड बाई 65.57 it will be 0.68 something 0.68. So the calculator allowed, you can just take in the examination. So 0.68. So R is denoted as 0.68. So correlation value is 0.68. So it lies which type of the degree? Moderate degree of positive correlation. It shows the moderate degree of positive correlation. Positive correlation. It shows the moderate degree of and positive direction भी show कर रहा है and degree भी, degree and direction. The both things the correlation tells about the both things, degree and positive correlation. So you can solve this correlation by using the assume mean method. So in assume mean method you can use this formula, and for standard deviation and the covariance. By using standard deviation covariance, you can use the covariance of x and y. Then स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन आपको कैलकुलेट, मैंने स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन करवा दिया आपको, तो स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन आप कैलकुलेट कर सकते हो. एंड कोवेरियंस क्या आएगा, एक्स और वाई के बीच में जो कोवेरियंस है उसका फॉर्मूला बताया था मैंने पीछे, वैसे आपको कोवेरियंस का फॉर्मूला जो आपको कैलकुलेट करना है, जैसे ये इन्होंने कर रखा है, कोवेरियंस निकाल रखा है. एन नीचे एन इंटू एन लगाना जरूरी है, एन यहाँ पे भूल गए हम. N into standard deviation x into y. Sorry, this is the formula. Yes, covariance x or y. So you can calculate the covariance like that. Summation x minus x bar, y minus y bar, divided by n. So you can use this formula for covariance. You can calculate the covariance. Then you can just calculate the standard deviation, like the summation x minus x bar का square divided by n, standard deviation of x, and you can use the y minus y bar का square divided by n. You can use this formula. So you can just calculate the standard deviation of x and y and the covariance. Just put all the values in this formula, and you can calculate this method. So these all are the four method, five method. First method was the scatter diagram method. Then Karl Pearson. Karl Pearson can be calculated by different method, like the scatter diagram method. Second method was the by using actual mean method, and third one by using actual values of x and y's, and fourth one was the assumed mean method, and fifth one is fifth one method is this one. So these all the five methods you can use to calculate the correlation. So if no any specific method is asked in examination, you can attempt in any method. Okay, so thanks for this class. Now that's enough for today. It's all about the correlation. So tomorrow we will start from the regression analysis or some basic properties of the coefficient of correlation.